So here, we only have the value of sine theta. It's 15 over 17. We know that theta is a second quadrant angle, and to be honest, that's not useful information at the moment. It will be useful later on, though. We want to find the exact value of cosine theta. So what we need is an identity that has just sine and cosine with nothing else. The only option for that is one of our Pythagorean identities, cos squared plus sine squared equals 1. And to be brutally honest, this equation is going to come up a lot in our study of trig identities. It is going to be one of the most useful ones and the most used ones. So we know sine theta, so we'll fill it in. We can square 15 over 17, that'll be 225. Oops. Put an equal sign where I should have put a plus sign. It should be a plus. 225 over 289. And knowing that I'm going to have to take that 225 over 289 over to the right to solve this, I'm just going to create a common denominator right now of 289 over 289. I'll subtract the 225 over 289 over to the right. Gives me 64 over 289. To get this down from cosine squared to cosine, I need to square root. But when I do that and I square root my number, I need to put a plus or minus with it, because it could be either or. And cosine theta equals plus or minus. Now, we can take the square root of 64 and get 8. We can take the square root of 289 and get 17. And we're 3/4 of the way there. We actually have two separate answers shown in this. We have positive 8 over 17 and negative 8 over 17. We need to know specifically which one it is. That's where the second quadrant angle piece becomes important. So going back to a pre-calculus 20 concept, looking at the quadrants, we had an acronym called CAST, C-A-S-T. What that stood for is that in quadrant 3, which is labeled with a T, tangent would be positive and the others would be negative. Theta is a second quadrant angle, which is here, meaning sine is positive and the others are negative. So that tells us, instead of the positive 8 over 17, specifically this answer is the negative 8 over 17.